Ladies and gentlemen, I have another special episode for you from across the country in the hot spot of coronavirus. You didn't want to talk about coronavirus. One of my best comedy friends, we are what they call comedy classmates. Joshua Wallenstein, no relationship to, I'm just kidding, it's Joshua Wallenstein.
So rude.
So really no relationship to Mr. Weinstein going through all those sexual allegations.
Nope.
Josh, thank you for joining me on the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very, very excited to be here with my comedy classmate. Am I still in your phone as Josh, not Weinstein, or...
It says Josh Weinstein or something.
Josh Weinstein or something. Good.
Yeah, because I remember when we met, I was like, I think his last name was Weinstein or something, but then it felt like it wasn't. And interesting stuff.
Very. Yes.
What it means to be a comedy classmate is that you guys started around the same time. We started doing comedy a week apart. I think it was a week apart, right? Our first times?
It was. Yes. I remember when I first saw you, I was like, I always say I was sitting across from you. You were wearing this very, very tight, like aggressively tight white V-neck. And I just remember seeing you, your hair is all styled and whatever. And I was like, this guy is probably so cocky. He's probably been doing stand-up for years. Like, he's so full of himself. And I just looked at you and I was like, I won't like him. I won't like him. And then they had us switch rooms, and then we ended up sitting next to each other. I'm like, okay, maybe I won't like him, but he's still cute. Like, I can still sit next to him. and we sit down, and I think I went before you did, and then I went up, and you turned to me. You were like, is this your first time doing stand-up? Really? Because I think I had told someone, and you were like, is this really your first time? And I was like, yeah. And you were like, huh, nice. And I was like, okay, he's not terrible. I'm still testing him out, though.
I remember sitting there, and my gaydar went off so hard. I was like,
well, I sat right on your lap, so that's
yeah,
probably
it was like
why.
Boing, boing, boing. And I was just like, I got to improv some I'm not gay material right now because he is looking and liking. And,
that was the first thing. Yeah, you did very like, I'm not gay, but I wish I could be. Something like that. And looked me dead in the eye when you did it, too.
Did everybody get that one?
Everybody? Everyone? Josh Weinstein over there? Did you get that?
I forgot that joke. What? I'm only... No, not the I'm gay for the benefits one.
No, that
okay,
one's...
So if you guys didn't know, Josh is my gay son. And I love him, and I accept him. And... one time during Gay Pride Week, it was Gay Pride, month. You guys got a whole month.
We get a whole month. I do a year, but I mean, some people just keep it to a month.
Yeah. And I remember I improvised a joke. I think I gave you a tag that you were in the trenches or something like that.
It's a great tag.
So it got my gay joke juices flowing. So I was like, you know what? I just gave Josh a gay joke tag. I want a gay joke during Gay Pride Month. And I remember I told you that I was like, hey, what about this? I pitched it to you before we went in the deal. I was like, what if I do a little, I'm only gay for the benefits? And you were like, yeah, that's funny. And at the time it seemed funny. And I went and did it on stage. I opened with it and it couldn't have gone worse. I was like, oh no.
It was rough.
This is bad.
It was rough. And I'm usually very good about being like, no, it wasn't that bad. Like, you did great. You really, you came through in the end. But this was just through and through. Really bad. I felt so terrible for you. I was like, and then you blamed me. You were like, you told me to do the joke. I'm like, well, I didn't think you were actually going to do it. I'm like, that was terrible.
Did you not think I was?
No, I really did think. I didn't think it was going to go bad. I'll be honest. I think we were in a room with it was a lot. I think maybe I was the only gay guy there, but I think there were a lot of women there who probably, were big allies for me. And I think they were like,
shout out to your allies.
How rude. Yeah. And maybe didn't know that we were like good friends, but I don't know.
Did you go before me on that?
I don't
Because that would have even
I-
made it worse
I
if
know,
you
I
went
f-
before me.
I feel like I did.
Yeah,
And then
that makes it
probably like,
extra bad.
exactly. Yep. And it's like, ooh, like, did he not hear anything that he just said? Like,
Man.
yeah. Whoops. Sorry about that. But thank
No,
you for the joke you gave me. It worked out great. I got a big laugh on that one.
Yeah. How's it been for you with not being able to do stand-up? Are you still writing jokes right now? You're writing great. He's a good follow on Twitter and Instagram, and as well as TikTok now, I saw. Welcome
you.
to the TikTok world.
Yeah, I'm really trying with the TikTok. I have not mastered it yet, but I'm really trying with that.
You're very good at it. It's a format I think that excels to your writing style.
Well, thank you. Yeah, no, I think for me, like, it's so hard to get motivated to like sit down and write things that are like stand-up-y. Now it's like I'll wake up and I'll be like, okay, if I can come up with like one good tweet for today, like that's an accomplishment, because I saw someone, some comedian, he tweeted something. He was like, how are we going to go back to doing normal stand-up after this? Like, can you imagine like talking for 10 minutes about this pandemic? And then you're like, okay, so now let's talk about my dating life.
I was thinking about that. I've been thinking about that off and on the last few days, because I'm like, how do I like, and I was like, do I just scrap all the material I had before and now we just talk about what's happening now? Because things have changed that like, I can't, 23andMe jokes don't matter anymore, you know?
Right. And I'm like thinking like, objectively, like your stuff I love, and I will watch so many other comedians' stuff and I love their material. And then I'm thinking, you know, if they were to get on stage right now and do that, like, would it, I don't think that would like bring people any like kind of comfort, you know. I don't know if it would. And it's like, I know a lot of people are doing like Instagram live shows. And
I haven't, I don't want to offend anybody. I haven't seen anybody really that I know. Maybe I just don't click on them, because I'll be honest, when I see I don't watch any Instagram live.
No,
I can't.
Nope.
But so I don't know who in my actual world is doing it. But don't do it. Don't do comedy shows on Instagram live. It's not the place.
I know. It's like a couple of them I've seen were for like good causes, like you're raising money, you know, which is cool. However, and like this is the point that I think a lot of people have been making, like it's an art form that's a dialogue, and it's like what you're doing is really based on how other people are responding. And if I'm right now sitting here in my bedroom and I'm telling jokes about, you know, high school or what's going on here with me, you know, at home with my dad, you know, during this quarantine, I don't know how people are responding. They're probably like just on their laptops, you know, going through Twitter and Instagram. Like they're not listening, and it's not like they're laughing out loud. When I watch my favorite comedians, you know, on YouTube, I'll go and I'll watch videos. Oftentimes I don't laugh out loud, you know, I can appreciate it, but I'm not laughing out loud. And it's like, it's like, that's just a huge crucial part that's missing. And it's for me, and I haven't watched any of the like stand-up Instagram lives, but I can just imagine for me it would just be uncomfortable. Like there is that one comedy show, or it's like some kind of, maybe something on Comedy Central, where they put the comedian inside of a truck, a soundproof truck. They put headphones on them and they're looking into a camera, and that video feed is being projected into an arena full of people, and they're watching and they're laughing, but the comedian themselves can't hear that laughter, so they don't know how people are responding, and it's like a cool test. But now it's like, oh no, this is this is it. This is the real deal. Like you have to do it without laughter. So I don't. The format has to change. It'd be like a politician, the way they like talk, like someone like Barack Obama, who was very presidential. If you got in a room alone with Barack Obama and he was like, "Hello, how are you doing? Are you feeling good about the country?" And I'd be like, "Hey, Brock, it's just us here. You can talk to me like a human." Exactly.
And I see people doing it on their, like, it's the same thing when you see comedians. Like, I don't ever want a comedian, even if we're just talking, to start running material on me or doing the actual joke. It's almost like you got to even have the language of talking about jokes a certain way to comedians. Like you almost have to just pitch the bit ideas in the tags rather than actually doing it for them. It's a weird art form, and like I've been trying to write, but I'm only writing ideas and new tags. And that's the thing, is like a lot of my older bits are starting to develop new angles and tags, and they're just kind of like airing out a bit. Like I'm starting to figure out new things with them, but it's hard to like flesh out ideas in actual bits without going on stage and seeing what's working and what's not working.
Right.
Yeah, it's been weird.
Yeah, and it's kind of like when we were, in the trenches, literally in the trenches doing this, and we're like in rooms where there's 5-6 people sometimes, and like even that is very uncomfortable, because it's like you do have to acknowledge that you're in a room of 5 people while trying to work on something that will hopefully eventually take you to where there are hundreds and thousands of people, and you want to keep that in the back of your mind. So already it was awkward doing that. And now that there's no one, it's like hard, because now it's almost like, for me, I'm like, what's the point of writing, for stand-up? It's like I want to write. I'll do like clips, and like we were talking about, like the TikToks. That's why I'm like trying to get on that train, because I'm like, that's something that you can do solo and people can watch that whenever, but I don't know, stand up, I'm just having a hard time motivating to write anything for that, because I'm like, who knows when the next time I'll be able to. Plus there's just so much good quarantine material happening right now that I'm like, how can my quarantine material stack up to the millions of people who are sitting at home doing nothing but trying to come up with material and posting it?
Yeah, and I feel like it's going to be interesting, because I feel like there's going to be a lot of people that there's going to be so many toilet paper jokes. There's going to be so many watching Netflix all day jokes. There's going to be so many, face mask jokes. There's just going to be so many hacky jokes, and it's like, that's the one thing, is I'm like, there is a way to do like a unique perspective on all of that. But I think for us especially, who are like, I think we both enjoy writing and being clever in writing. And I think the great thing about that is it doesn't have to be just stand-up right now. I think you got to you got to play the cards how they land. And if this is all we have, the outlet is podcasting, TikTok, videos, and stuff like that, I don't think there's anything wrong with focusing on sharpening that, because you're still doing setup and punchlines and misdirections. Like when you were like, you did the TikTok about going out to your dad and doing that challenge. That's like a great misdirection joke. And I hadn't seen it. I've seen a lot of people trying to do it, but I haven't seen anybody do a clever one like that. So you're on the right track.
And you as well with your, I told you this too. I was scrolling through Instagram, and you had the video, and your caption was, "We need to be better as people." And
Dude, so
it was
douchey.
like, I literally scrolled through, because I was like, I don't need to watch another person preach about how we don't need to be going out. We don't need to be going to the
how would you ever expect me to actually put out a serious video like that?
That's why I scrolled right past it, because I'm like, I don't need to watch anyone do this, let alone Evan. Exactly. I was like, oh no, he's become one of them. No, not that. And obviously, of course, I agree, we all need to be staying home, of course. But I'm like, I just think there are a lot of people who think like, by them saying it, they become the new authority on it. And so I was like, oh gosh, I don't need to hear Evan say this. And then later it popped up again, and I was like, well, if Instagram's telling me to watch it, I'll watch it. And I watched it, and it turned out to be about boneless wings. And I was like, oh my gosh, and it was just so perfect. I was so happy. And then I think one of the comments on it was like, how did you get yourself to actually be emotional for this? Like, and you're like, or they were like, how did you pretend to be emotional? You're like, who says I'm pretending? Or something like that. And and I thought that was great. And that's something clever I hadn't seen, because like, it's just parodying, this like real thing that's happening, that people are actually trying to be the authority on it. But
I think I appreciate that. I think that it is a big thing, and that's why I think, man, I don't think I'm not one of these people. I saw something with actors last night. Someone put out an article, an actor, about the importance of theater, and like acting is more than just acting and entertainment. Somehow we got lost. We're philosophers and supposed to be a mirror on society, and they get like so like serious and take themselves serious. I think there is a point of comedy and comedians who are supposed, like, I literally think our job is to take some shit that people do and go, hey, what the fuck are we doing? Why are you pretending like we all kind of know that people posting videos like, we need to be better and stay home, and like Gal Godet, I don't know if you saw her Imagine video, but I'm like, what is this? Like, I think it's important for people to put out stuff that's like, hey, you guys are taking yourself a little too serious, and like, I don't know, the preachiness, man. It's a weird thing going around.
Yes, I agree. And it's like, we can still have fun. And that's the thing with joking about kind of heavy topics. And it's not that you're trying to, I'm trying to think of the word I want to, it's not that you're trying to say that it's not a big deal, but if you're so bogged down with negativity about these things, if you're so like, feeling so just depressed about it all the time, you're going to drive yourself crazy. And it's like, you need this outlet, you need to have a lighter view on it. Like, of course it's so heavy, but this is not going to change whether or not, you know, you or I or someone else posts a funny video about it, you know? So it's,
I have had some people DM me saying that I should stop making jokes about things and how serious it is. And I'm like, hey, fuckface. Like, what are we supposed to do right now? I'm doing everything that I can do to stay safe, and everyone else, like, what are we just watch the news and be scared the whole time?
Right. What kind of things, which, like, in particular, what specific things?
The hello video, someone thought that I shouldn't be making jokes about, like, the real, like, shortage and stuff like that. And I'm just like, hey, like, I honestly, I don't reply. And like, if I can, I won't let them even see that I saw it. But I just think people find anything to be upset about, you know?
Yeah, it's true. And I think that people feel like better people if they can call someone out for, you know, if they think they're being insensitive. Like, oh, this will make me feel like I'm doing my part in this pandemic, you know? Like, there's nothing anyone can do right now, you know? Stay home. That's it.
I've seen, and that's what I think. So this is why I haven't been tweeting, because I did have a goal of, throughout the pandemic, I was going to try to put out a joke a day on Twitter. Just something clever. Yeah. I ended up deleting Twitter, and I only go on Instagram and Facebook. That's why I have
one less follower, you asshole.
Hey, I'm still on there, but I'm just not active. But I have a 15-minute limit on Instagram a day. I put like the limit thing on there, but I mean, I go past it every day. I also have a 15-minute limit on Facebook, because I feel like there's nothing. Everybody's squawking the same posts. Like, it's all just blah, 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 blah. And then it's just like the news, the media. I always see everybody posting like, a 30-year-old, he was healthy, died of coronavirus. And then you read it, and I'm like, oh no, he didn't just have coronavirus. He was a 97-year-old man.
Yeah.
You know? And it's just like,
that's wrong.
Yeah. There's so much like political stuff with it. Everybody's like weaponized a pandemic.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, somehow. And I think that's so smart to just limit yourself, because it is so easy just to go down a rabbit hole and not, I don't know, it's just so hard to get lost in it. It's so easy to get lost in it, rather. Like, when I wake up, it's terrible, but like the first thing I'll do is go on Twitter, and like at the top of the Twitter page it says coronavirus updates, and always I'll click on that, and it's like trying to find the balance of like staying informed, being educated about the right, like, correct things, not like things that like that's hearsay, and then like trying to just stay sane and not be like totally inundated with this.
And you're in New York. That is the mecca of the pandemic in America.
Yes, I'm fortunate.
How has that been?
Well, I'm fortunate. I'm in upstate New York, so I'm a few hours away from like where it's really, really bad. So where I am right now, we're a little bit more spread out. It's more rural. and we still have like had cases. I mean, there's been quite a few deaths here, which is very sad. But it's not like it is in not like it is in New York City. My brother's there, and he's so he's in Queens. His apartment is like the size of like my room. Like that's him and his roommate, and they're quarantined together, and it's like he just won't leave because which I mean, you're not supposed to, but I just mean he won't even, like, you can't even go for a walk there because you have to touch 50 doors before you get out. You have to go down the stairs. It's just too risky to go anywhere. Like, so he has this little tiny balcony that's like the size of a laptop. Like you can just like step out there, look out in the world, and that's it. But yeah, so that's where it's like really crazy. And when things were starting, we were like, why don't you just, come here, and that way you're not stuck there. But he's like, no, I'm gonna go there. He was starting a new job, and so
how's that job going?
So his first day was like a month ago now. Like a month ago, and he started all online. And since he started, this one day, I think a week or two ago, they cut like 20 or 30% of the workforce. And like luckily he's in like his separate department, so he got lucky and his job is still there. But he's like literally the only person who got a job in this pandemic.
That's pretty amazing, actually. Hey, do you think... I was going to run this joke that I had about New York. I was thinking, there's something in this where I never want to hear New Yorkers pretend like they're tough again, or New Yorkers pretend they're tough again. Like, with how high the mortality rate is. See, this is terrible. I'm going to get canceled.
You are going to get canceled.
And they'll be like, you can never, and since California's doing so good, I'm like, you guys can never make fun of our gluten-free kombucha lifestyle again, because scoreboard.
I think in a very twisted way, there's something there. We gotta we gotta work, we gotta mold it, but we got something there.
We're gonna cut this.
Let's edit this out. Okay, guys,
we'll leave it. We'll leave it. Fuck it. Who's gonna cancel me right now?
I'm actually in the middle of sending you a message right now saying I'm DMing you right
now. So have you moved? Because if people don't know, so we met when you were living in Camarillo. I'm living in Ventura. You moved to LA and you're working at Paramount Studios. I wore this Jurassic Park shirt. Thought for a second you worked at Universal Studios, so I was trying to be topical,
Which is very nice. I mean, it's incorrect. It was wrong. But however, Jurassic Park is one of my favorite movies. And I told you, but I went to a doctor's appointment this one day. This was months ago. And I was sitting in the waiting room, and for some reason they started playing Jurassic Park. Like, they had to put the DVD in. Like, it was not like it just came on a TV. Like, they chose this one specifically. And I love Jurassic Park, so I was sitting there watching. They called me in for my appointment. I went in. I was okay. Everyone, don't worry, I'm fine. And then I came back out into the waiting room, and I just sat back down and started watching. And the receptionists were probably like, wasn't he fine? Like, why is he still here? But I just love it so much.
That's hilarious.
But anyway, sorry, continue.
Yeah. Are you still living in LA and you just moved back for the pandemic? Or did you leave your place?
So, I mean, when they shut down the studio, and so I was very worried that they were going to stop flights, and I wanted to be back here with my dad, and I was just very nervous that I wasn't going to be able to get to him, and I didn't know, no one knows how long it was going to be, so I just booked a flight home for the next day, and I took like as much stuff as I could. So all my stuff is still there. My car is still there. Okay. So I don't know at this point.
If you need someone to go like check in and start your car, I would ask one of your coworkers.
No, I don't trust you. I don't trust you inside my car. Okay, there are McDonald's bags that are probably some loose fries that I don't want you getting your hands on. Okay, I'm saving those babies for me.
Ooh, those are marinating right now.
They're going to be nice and seasoned by the time I get back to them. But yeah, at this point, like, things are just so up in the air. I just don't know what I'm like living
crazy.
day to day, you know? I think everyone is. We're all living day to day. So,
are you able to go out anywhere? Or are you staying indoors?
I'll go on walks. I'll go on a lot of walks. Yeah.
Oh, good for you. Getting some exercise.
Yeah, thank you.
Very good.
I'll come back and eat a lot of ice cream right after the walks. But I wake up and I just grab like 3 Oreos, and my dad's like, "Is that really going to be your breakfast today?" He's like, "Why don't you go for a jog instead of a walk today?" But no, we go on a lot of walks, which is good. You know, my dad has a dog, so we take her around. So it's good. Like we can go.
The dog that he shows videos of their butt licking or whatever.
Yeah, that's the one, Sadie.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. The one that got kicked me out of.
Yeah, that's still one of my favorite things ever, and I love that I'm one of the beloved comics of that place now. And
this is. Can you talk a little bit more about this? Because I still am really upset about this. I'm not upset about what happened. I'm upset that they love you so much.
This is something that's funny. So if people don't know, in comedy, you try to do, especially at you try to do spots everywhere you can. You have to be on stage as much as possible. So we would crash music mics. I've only had like one really bad experience at a music mic.
Yes, same.
And yeah, actually, well, you have a couple brave ones.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when you try to go to a music mic and do stand-up, they don't want you there, and they don't want to laugh, and they're very protective of it, and rightfully so. It'd be weird if someone went with a guitar to a comedy mic and tried doing music, like regular music. They're like just like, "Oh, music. My heart."
Yeah.
You know?
That was good. You should.
I'm gonna copyright that song.
Yeah.
That's
the whole song. That's it.
But we went to this one spot, and I'll leave the name out of it. And I don't know if I went before you.
Well, we had gone there probably at this point. This was like our 3rd or 4th time. But yeah. Sorry, you did. You found the spot first.
Yeah, and I remember. Oh shit! Oh, look at that!
Oh my gosh! Wow, you're happy to see me? Oh,
that's just how it comes, baby. That's just stock. I come stock like that. If people don't know, I just really like telling this story, man.
just love this story so much. Love reminiscing about our comedy days and music open mics.
So people on the podcast, if you don't know, we're watching the FaceTime from the phone, and it fell down, and I'm wearing some shorts, and it was just bunched up.
Quite short shorts.
Yeah. Yeah. So we went to where was I? I got all turned around now.
So we were at the comedy or the music open mic. You went before me. You found this place.
Yeah, and I remember we had another friend going with us, just not to embarrass him. I won't say his name. And so they at first loved us, and they were just like, yeah, keep coming back and blah, blah, blah. And then the friend that went with us was like, have you ever had a friend?
That was a great impression.
Yeah. Mic drop. He was talking to the owner, and he was like, yeah, we'll just, we'll bring some comedians are crass. We'll bring just Josh. And I was just like, I don't know, which was a weird thing to say. And then she goes, oh, which one was Josh? And then what did he say? I can't even say it. You have a pass to say it. I can't say it.
That's true. You can't say it. He goes, oh, Josh is the one that says faggot.
And this was like a sweet open mic, super liberal, and she was like, oh, like she must not have caught that. And then the next time we go, Josh decides, I'm going to do all my butt licking material. I'm going to, he sets the stage for this.
I have like 2 butt licking jokes, okay? That's it.
And Josh is a prude. I'm like, hey, Josh, why are you telling those jokes if you don't like to lick butts? I mean, I don't know if you do, but like...
No, it's true. I'm such a prude. I'm a big square.
And I'm like, yeah. And then Josh took a beer and went outside out of the area, and you weren't allowed to bring beer. We got yelled at by the owners, and the owner, he said to me, he was like, if you're gonna come back, I would like you to do cleaner material. Which, to me, I can understand. However, I remember the first time we were there, the host of the mic said, he said specifically, no one asked him, but he just says, he's like,
if you're going to say the F word, he's like, just make sure that, there's a reason for it there. He's like, we're all adults here. And I'm like, we're a brewery. You would think. And so I was like, we can be a little bit more loose with it. And everyone seemed pretty chill. There were no other people that came up to me. No one looked offended, but I don't know.
I mean, it's
they weren't
Ventura,
laughing,
California. It's quite a liberal little beach town.
Yeah. Yeah, true. But they love you.
Yeah. And that's the thing is I stopped going for a little while because the next time I went back, they wouldn't even make eye contact with me. And I was just like, well, this is weird. I literally left because I was like, this is too uncomfortable. I don't even want to do it. And then a few weeks, probably a couple months went by, and I randomly ran into the host. And he was like, dude, come back. We love you. And then I went back, and it was like, hey, Evan's back. And then
see, that's so weird because a couple months later, I ran into the host, and he went like this. He just dodged me and just walked away.
He was like, hope things are well. Good to see you. Just kept walking.
I wish you the best of luck in all your future endeavors.
And now I'm just like the resident comedian there.
Yeah, they invite you to all their parties.
Yeah.
They just love you.
It's great. They're actually still doing, which is, I think it's different with music. They're doing Instagram Live music mics.
I do think it is different with music. I don't mind listening to music. So it's like, that's something I can listen to and that's fine. You just put it on. And I know artists are doing concerts. They're going to be doing benefit concerts and stuff, which I think is very cool. So yeah. That's cool. That's good that they're doing that. I did like it there. And
you know what? And that's the thing. Yeah. And a good room, good sound, everything. They were starting to get some pretty crazy equipment going. They were, starting to get some nice lights coming down. Then they were actually getting a streaming camera set up to have it streaming online. Wow. It was actually getting pretty nice.
Wow.
So hopefully we'll go back.
I'm glad that once I left, they really upped their game.
Flourished. We flourished. My comedy career, once I lost the dead weight, it just...
Yeah. Yep.
That's a satellite aliens going around how far I am in the atmosphere.
That was good. I'm glad you're amusing yourself on this podcast.
I got it.
I don't need to be here for any of this.
It's been weird. How has it been for you as a performer to not have the outlet of performing?
That is a great question. I need a lot of attention. It's and I think I really do just seriously from a very young age, anytime I could be in front of a crowd, in front of an audience, no matter what I was doing, I just needed that. And that's something that has always fulfilled me. And
this is not good, Josh.
This is not good. No, it is not. Wait, are you not my therapist? I thought, wait.
No. Wrong Skype session.
Sorry, I'm on the wrong.
I will need your credit card, though.
I will. I can give you that. There's nothing on it. But yeah, so it is very weird to not have an audience and never have not have a live audience, and I think
you're even holding a little microphone like this. Is a show.
I am, yeah. So a little bit about me, guys. What did I want to talk to you guys about today?
What else?
Yeah, I don't know. Me and my dad yesterday, we were watching some stand-up, and it was I hadn't watched stand-up since all this started, but then I started watching, and it just shows the crowd, it shows people laughing, and I'm like, oh, I miss that, And so I do think I really miss performing, and the most is I'll see a couple of friends if I go on a social distance walk with them, and I'll try to not do bits, but I just tell stories, and I'm okay, that I got my fill, I got to have a little audience today, but I don't know. What about you?
I think that's how you are naturally, because even some of our best times we've had is after shows when we're just standing around the parking lot, just shooting the shit and telling just making each other laugh.
Yeah.
So I think that's a huge outlet. That's a byproduct of doing stand-up is you're around other funny people and you guys just make each other laugh. What's been funny for me is, my girlfriend's going crazy, having me around, and just I try to turn everything into a joke. Everything's an exercise. If you talk about a banana, I'm going to find a way to turn it into a pun. I'm going for it.
Oh, no. Oh gosh.
and I've had to turn it off. But I also play Xbox now during the quarantine. I bought an Xbox just to play during the quarantine. And so I've been getting the release of being on an Xbox team and just making everybody laugh and trying to find the punchline. So it's like I've got a little bit of that, but man, there is nothing like being on stage doing it.
Right. Wait, are these Xbox people that you know, or are these like random people?
Yes.
Okay.
So I was talking with random people, but they were mainly little 8-year-olds that were calling me the N-word.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it's not the first time you've been called the N-words by a bunch of 8-year-olds.
Yeah.
This is just a normal thing for you. But I was like, wow, that must be great. It'll be like a little mini open mic, Maybe not the right audience, but
no.
I have been wondering. See, I'm quarantined with my dad, which is fun. We will do a lot of things together. He's been trying to teach me chess. We'll go on walks together, and things are great. You just roll your eyes when I said chess. You're like, oh, yeah, things are going downhill in the quarantine real fast. But we have a good time. Sometimes we'll do our own thing, But I do wonder, what is it like being quarantined with a significant other? I mean, it's like you spend your lives together, Otherwise, you're home together a lot. But now, like, you're together like
it's just so I'm in a relationship where we are both super chill people when it comes to like we don't fight ever, like rarely ever, because we're just so relaxed with everything. But there's a certain point where you gotta you have to take steps to make sure you avoid having too much time together where it'll eventually, no matter who you're around, you're going to get tired of them in the way they eat, in the way they breathe, and just the way they live their life. So we do a lot of different stuff. Like, I work in my studio, 4 or 5 hours, or she'll be in the room watching TV, or she'll be working out in the living room, and I'll be on the patio. And we'll make sure, I'll go walk the dog for an hour or something like that. But, making sure we get separate time. And then just... man, it all just goes back to whatever your relationship was before. If you were people that were prone to fight, you're probably going to be more prone. It's just going to amplify everything.
Right.
So I've just been more aware of, in general, when I start getting annoyed and I can feel a fight coming on, or this could go somewhere, is stopping the feeling and being like, all right, what's the issue? How can we solve it? Rather than giving into those frustrations of let me just, because that's the other thing. You start getting bored, and what's exciting? A nice little tussle,
a little drama,
mix, a little, throwing some jabs here and there,
right?
And I think a lot of people are frustrated in general. People can't go out, so they're gonna start. I think there's a lot of people I'm blessed. #blessed. I think there's a lot of people in their life who already are in unhealthy relationships, and it's they're already bickering and going at each other. So I think, I don't know where I was going with that, but I just feel good about not taking it out on the other person. Because that's the thing. You're going to have so many extra frustrations of not being able to do other stuff. You're going to start blaming that person if you're prone to blame that person.
Right. And that's the thing. It's there's no handbook for this. No one's been through this. No one has been stuck with their significant other for extended periods of time. So I think that is good though that that is a thing. You guys are just so not super sensitive people in the way that you'd get offended. So it's you can just go do your own thing. You both know it's you still need that alone time. You need that space. So and that's the thing from even before all this. You guys both did do your own thing, and you have together people in your life and separate people in your life, and so that's always wise.
What's funny is that before all of this, I've heard so much from the people saying, "Oh, you need to have kids. What are you waiting for? Have some kids, blah 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 blah." And I'm like, "Hey, how's your life going right now?" "Oh, you're drinking at 8 a.m.? Cool. I'm having my best life right now." Okay.
Yeah.
I can do whatever I want. I just bought a hammock. I put it out there. I look at the sunset,
I did see that hammock. That looked so zen. Yeah. Also, right? I think it's very weird for someone to just say that you need to have kids. They know what's
misery
going on.
Loves company.
That's very true. That is very true. But I don't know. I kind of would be not the time. I don't know. Not the time for me. Also, now is just a great great time not to have a kid.
Yeah. No, I agree with you on the first date, man. That's what I'd always say. I'd be like, hey, you don't know what my life is right now. I don't want a kid right now, and I couldn't have one with what I'm trying to do.
Right, that's the job. Thing. Yeah. And
I already have one gay son. I don't need anything else. He needs a lot of attention.
He does. He requires so much. But, yeah, I think that I think it's good that people are able to find, like, a balance of pursuing their dreams and then also raising a kid. But for me, know that right now anyway, I'm too selfish to have a kid, and I like my time. I like to do my own thing, and I don't want that to be interrupted, but also I don't have anyone to have a kid with. That's just a minor detail that
minor detail
later. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think I want to be able to write when I want to write and go do my own thing when I want to do my own thing. So
eat 3 Doritos or 3 Oreos and just go for a walk in the morning. I get it. Have a full balanced breakfast.
I knew that was going to come back in my face. I knew you were going to use that.
You wish it would come back in your face. Hey.
Hey.
You actually inspired one of my opening jokes. I think I've already put it out there, the resting douchebag face.
Yes.
I came up with that. It's been a great opener because it gets the whole room to go, he gets it. He knows what he looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever deal with that in stand-up where you felt like you had to acknowledge an elephant in the room real fast?
See, it's so hard because it's like I just am so perfect as it is. Like I don't know what there is to address. But
everybody should get it. If they don't get that, shame on them.
That's their own problem. No, I think one of my hardest things is trying to since I've been doing stand up, I have been trying to come up with like that good opener, that good let me put this out there before anyone else notices or addresses. And it's like I don't know if I want to address the gay thing without doing exclusively gay material, and almost I don't want to. It's like I almost don't want to make that a thing. Like I almost want to just be able to make these jokes that anyone else would be able to, but just substitute, a guy-girl relationship with a guy-guy relationship, or whatever it is. So I think that's really been one of the hardest parts for me is coming up with that opener that. What is this elephant that I need to address? I have a very Jewish-shaped features, So, I guess that's something, but, I know. Do you want to point the mic there, the camera down again? Do you want to see?
I just love stereotypes, man.
Just big fan. Big fan. So I guess, that's something, but... Then it's the whole thing is how do I come up with original Jewish material, that's not about, being cheap or, so whatever, something like that. So I don't know. Yeah, I do. I want something like that. Unfortunately, I don't look as much of a douchebag as you do, so I can't have something like that.
Sorry.
Thank
it's
you.
All taken up.
It does.
Even that, and that's the thing, is that's even starting to feel, and maybe this is the normal progression of just how you get the longer you've been doing it, is I almost feel like there's the low-hanging fruit, which was, there's the lowest hanging fruit that you just start off with.
Yeah.
It's, whether it was for you doing sports and being God and Jesus, or Jesus and God spell, and it's let me go with these super, the first thing I can think of that would get a laugh, and then you start going to a deeper level of whatever it is, and then I feel like there's a next level, and I think I'm starting to get past that, where I almost feel like I'm starting to break into a little, I'm starting to be okay with start talking about more serious stuff in my life, and being more humorous about that, and talking about that's real, rather than, hey guys, I look like a douchebag,
right?
And then so I'm gonna start you, if you don't mind me bringing up some of your bits, you talking about your mom on stage. Josh had a mom that passed away, and you did that. I want to say that, dude, that's why I was like, this dude is fucking onto something. You talked about some real shit. I don't know if it was the first time on stage.
I think it was it had to have been the third or fourth time because it was like a month
Wow.
after. Yeah. No, a month after I started. Yeah.
Like, I know we always joke about it because Josh went to a music open mic, and I don't know if you bombed, but you just didn't get the reception that was deserved. And one person came up to me and was like, "That was brave." So we always joke saying you're brave. But
You're brave.
Did you do that material that night?
No, I did not do that material. I didn't do any mom stuff. I did probably just like, stuff I'd been doing, like a bunch of gay material, but it was like, and I just was so offended because like I was so attentive during all of their stuff, I was clapping along with all of their songs and like really just like telling all of them they did great, and then I go up and they just have these blank faces, and then I was like, okay,
Dude,
so I'm not going back here.
We could do a whole podcast about going to comedy mics and getting that shit as well. Like, yes. I won't name any actual spots, but like, people don't know. The grind for comedy is a fucking dark one, and you're in the trenches, and it's like going to places and doing jokes, and especially when you're trying to be a good audience member for other comedians doing their jokes, and then when you go on and they give you zero, they're on their phone, they're just looking at the ground, just thinking about the next thing they're gonna do.
Yep.
It takes your soul away, and you're like, you're a piece of shit, I don't ever want to see you again. And it's like, there's so much, what's the word, disillusion. With, there's so much narcissism. I think there's a lot of mental health where people are just like, they're so self-unaware that it's so hard to be around some people.
Yep, that is very true. I do want to come back to this for a second, but going back before when you were talking about doing deeper stuff, I do remember the first couple times the first time you did your, I wish I could be gay, but I couldn't, whatever. And then it was
Josh, you're not going to turn me gay right now. I think you should. I think you should try to dig a little more into that gay stuff.
Really unpack that.
Have you seen the Tiger King thing?
Oh yeah.
Where he's like, "Hey, now when you go to Sonic, do you want a small hot dog or a big hot dog?" Well, you might not be as straight as you think you are, Evan.
I know. What is it? I just love that. Everyone's been posting.
Do you like a little microphone when you do stand-up? Or you like a big old microphone where everybody can hear you? Well, you might not be that straight.
You might not be that straight. I've been saying that to you for years. But, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. You did a lot of that, kind of stuff, and which, of course, I liked. But then I remember one of the first times you started talking, you told a story about your dad, and it was something about the heat. And
yeah,
and how he was like, just close your eyes and pretend you're on a beach, or something.
Oh, yeah.
Bringing up your bits. But I remember the first time you told that, I was like, oh, he's talking about family. And I just thought that was so cool. And I was like, yeah, you can already tell, you were digging deeper then. And one of my favorite things that you do that I think does just quickly get the audience on your side and just like they're able to kind of sympathize with you is when you say, I know I look like a hobbit who does CrossFit. And then everyone kind of first they're like, oh, and then you're like, I know, I own a mirror. And it just immediately just gets people on your side. It's so good. So, but yes, I do love that you go deeper in your comedy sometimes. But yeah, back to people just
illusion.
Yeah, people just doing their own thing at open mics. And yeah, I remember for a long time, it would be mic after mic after mic where it's just these rooms of like 8 or 9 people and no one wants to laugh at anyone. And if you do that for so long, like you get that reception from people for like an extended period of time, you start to think like, I'm not any good at this. And so like, there was definitely like a couple of weeks where I didn't do stand up at all. I was just like, this is terrible. I'm not good at this. This is not what I want, and no one, appreciates it. I'm not doing it. And then I was like, no, this is how it is. It's not anything about us. It's about, I think sometimes people don't want to laugh because they're like, if I laugh at you, it means that I'm not funny, where it's not the case. It's like, why can't we all laugh at each other, which is why I love going to mics with you, because you are just the most supportive audience member. And even when things aren't funny, you'll give a little chuckle. You're like, there's something there.
Yeah.
You know, you'll always give a little something.
I try, man. I try to be a good member of it. And
you are.
It's that's the thing, is like I would argue against a lot of those mics, because like even early on I was like, I don't know if these are the right things to do, because it's like doing magic for magicians when you're just doing it for stand-up. And it's like, you guys know all the tricks, you guys, or at least some of you should, but you start almost changing your comedy to make comedians laugh, because you're still, as a performer, you're like, well, I need to learn how to get this room and know your audience. Yep. So then you start developing a style that just makes comedians laugh, whether that's shock or it's just, you got to go so much further to a point where you're almost going to alienate a regular audience, where you're like, you don't develop the tricks to deal with a regular audience. It's like playing ping pong and trying to get good at tennis, you know, like it's kind of similar, but it's like, these are two different sports, working with comedians and audience members.
That's a good way to put it.
That's like the big thing with comedians who I really look up to, is sometimes when I get deep into a special, I stop watching it as a comedian, and like I'm just on board completely. Like I feel like it'd be like a magician making another magician be like, whoa, what was that? It's like there's such a next level, and that's who I like watching, is like those comedians that on that next level.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, and I did find that like when you're going to these open mics with just like 9 or 10 people who aren't responding, when I would sit down to write, it was exactly what you said. I'd be like, okay, what's going to make them laugh? You know, what's going to make these people laugh? Not what's going to make everyday people who are listening to this someday laugh. It's like, what are going to make these people laugh? And you go, and these people are talking about, you know, crushing puss, and they're talking about doing coke, and you know, going camping and being on acid, and I'm like, I can't relate to any of this. I don't have any of these experiences. So like, what can be shocking in my life that
crushing puss? Bro, that is like that's like the 40-year-old virgin trying to describe sex, like what guys talk about. Hey bro, I crushed some puss. I fucking ate that cat, bro. That cat, I took it down. They told me the taco nader, you know?
That was good, right? I seemed straight for a second.
Yeah.
But yes, I think it is very true. It's like, once you can find someone who you're watching and you're just lost in it and you're just appreciating it, rather than, okay, what's the formula here? How can I do this? You know, how can I get good at that?
Yeah. It's beautiful. Ventura actually has gotten really good. And maybe when you were around here, we hadn't been completely, we're still pretty new to the scene, but it's gotten pretty supportive. I really like the crew of people, you know, Russell, Ben, Aaron. There's a few people, Connor. There's a few new faces that have been here since you left. Seems like since you left, everything just got better for me. Yeah, you know,
it's so bizarre how that works. You know, in every aspect of your life.
I remember going to some of those mics and then going and doing a show and feeling weird when I got laughs.
Yeah.
Did you experience that?
Oh my gosh. Yes. I'm like, no one usually laughs at this. Like, this is, I didn't think this was funny. You know, I was just saying it because it's all I have. But yeah. And it's weird because then you're like, your timing is off too, because then you're like, oh wait, I have to pause here because people are still laughing. And it's such a weird feeling, but like such a good feeling.
Yeah. All right, Josh, we are coming in at almost an hour.
Holy moly. Usually I get bored of you after an hour. This is very weird.
I know, right? It's been pretty hard for me, you know, this 55 minutes.
You know, your crotch said otherwise, but okay.
Hey, baby, that's standard.
That's
half Puerto Rican, half Irish. Yeah, I just got to burn all my 23andMe material. That's what's going to be weird. It really is going to be the weirdest part of doing stand-up, is trying to talk about dating and going back to just material.
Yeah. Yep. It's like, how do we talk about things that aren't this? I know. Hopefully, it's with any kind of big world event that it's like, of course, for a period of time after, that's all people are thinking about. But hopefully, things will.
I'm sure it'll level out eventually.
Yeah.
But it's funny. Before this, I was working on material about. I don't know if you ever heard the stuff I was doing about the Great Depression.
I don't think I did.
It started getting it was like my first bit where I'm like, oh, I'm making like a real philosophy point here. Where I was talking about how we just have way too many options and too many choices. So we inherently need to struggle. So now we've gotten ridiculous in what we think we need in a spouse. And then it'd be like, I went in about how people are like, well, I'm a Sagittarius. I need someone who's blah, blah. And then like, I started comparing it to the Great Depression. Like, can you imagine someone seeing a dating ad from the Great Depression? And it was just this bit. And I started saying in the bit, I was like, we need like I don't know, like some wild disease or like a world war.
So basically you caused this. You manifested this.
I literally wish I had footage of it to put it out where I'm like, I'm goddamn whatever, Nostradamus. Because I literally was like, we need a crazy disease or world hunger or a war to break out so we start appreciating life again.
So you can all thank Kevin for this. Okay.
You're welcome, guys. I'm giving you some perspective.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now we know if ever we need some kind of crazy life event, natural disaster, anything, we know who to go to.
Yeah, I'll make it happen, baby. I'll make it happen.
Thank you.
Josh, where can people follow you on TikTok, Instagram? Anything you want to plug?
Oh, I want to plug so much on Instagram. And
I bet you want to.
Oh, you know I do. On Instagram and Twitter, my handles are the same. They are at that Joshua Kid, all one word, at that Joshua Kid. And on TikTok, I am at that Joshua Kid 93. Is that the year that I was born? Who's to say?
I mean, I'm going to say yes.
Maybe that's what I wanted people to think. I don't know. I don't know.
Trying to appeal to the younger audience. I get it. I get it.
You know how it is.
All right, Josh. I love you. I miss you. I hope you guys stay safe. And
I love you and I miss you. And thank you so much for having me. This has been so much fun. Thank you for wearing your Jurassic Park shirt.
Of course. I will see you guys next week. Thank you. God, I hate you, Josh.
Oh my gosh, thank God. This was a real bore. Oh my gosh.